Over 40% of people are on their phones right before we go to sleep. I mean, that's a crazy number, given that being on your phone, like using social media, can induce significant amounts of stress, and you don't want to be stressed right before you go to sleep. Additionally, lots of research suggests, and one of my past videos shows that screens give off lots of blue light, and that significantly harms your sleep quality by reducing your sleep hormone. I mean, is there anything else entertaining or relaxing we can do before trying to go to sleep besides being on our phones? I mean, I know that's what we all know in this day and age, but research suggests that reading a book for at least 15 minutes right before you go to sleep can have a positive impact. And maybe this is the one thing you need in your life to have better sleep. I talk about this research and more, so let's get into the video. What's up, everyone? My name is Henrik and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm breaking down a study looking at the effects of reading a book before sleep and how that affects your overall sleep quality and overall tiredness the next day. The study is published in December of 2021, so pretty recent, by Dr. Elaine Finucane and many others from the University of Ireland, Galway in Ireland. In society, it's generally accepted that reading books is great for you, no matter what your age. Whether it's for information or entertainment, there's very obvious boosts in cognition, memory, and processing speed, and many others. But how about impacts on sleep? How about the short-term effects of reading a book? In addition to talking about sleep, this study does a wonderful job of discussing clinical trials in general, something I love to do. Whenever we think about every medical thing that's done in the world, whether it's medications, using an app intervention, doing surgery procedures, transplants, tissue organ transplants, whatever you think about, there have been multiple clinical trials done on that one very specific thing. And all of these trials require lots of people to participate. And whenever you don't have lots of people participating, you get bad or non-existent or non-significant results, which really slows down the process of research. And so one of the goals of this study was also to provide more information about clinical trials and give some more information, because it's really hard to read these papers and try to understand what's going on. So if you're really interested in learning more about clinical research, I totally recommend checking out this paper. It gives a lot of information and it's very clearly spelled out. But regardless, this trial does an excellent job at providing results that can be immediately applicable to you directly in your life. So let's get into it. Looking into the study design, this was an extremely simple, completely online randomized clinical trial recruiting people through social media campaigns. Honestly, this is the absolutely simplest interventional clinical trial I've ever seen in my entire life. If you see in the title, it also uses the term pragmatic. And when describing a trial, a pragmatic study is one that is used in a real life setting, as opposed to a very highly controlled lab setting. So the results are super applicable to real life because they're coming from real life. 991 individuals were separated into two groups, the intervention and control group. The intervention group read a book for 15 to 30 minutes immediately before trying to go to sleep for 7 nights in a row, while the control group simply didn't change anything or read. It's important to note that the intervention group could read books on their phone, so if there's a solid likelihood that blue light could have had some effect on sleep quality. And that's something that wasn't really looked at here in this study. Researchers only measured different variables at the beginning and end of the 7-day period. The main variables studied were 3 different questionnaires. The first questionnaire was the single sleep quality scale, rating sleep quality from 0 to 10. Extremely simple. The second questionnaire was the PROMIS short form sleep disturbance scale, attempting to measure how often people had problems throughout the day from not having enough sleep. The third questionnaire measured daytime sleepiness with a super basic 10-point scale once again, measuring how sleepy you were during the day. This was a very simple study looking at how reading before bed impacts sleep quality, sleep disturbances, and daytime sleepiness. Another notable goal of this trial is that it was nicknamed the People's Trial, primarily because it was for the people in a very direct way. Obviously, every clinical trial the goal is to better medicine, better research, right? But this is for people to directly understand it. If you read the paper found in my description, you'll see that everything is super clear and simplified, and the text is meant for people in the general population, as opposed to physicians or researchers or other doctors or people deep in STEM. It's also why the design was super simple. Realistically, anyone from around the world could participate and understand the results of the research. And so it's the first time I've ever seen something like this, and it's just super interesting to me. Looking at the results of the trial, when looking at changes in sleep quality when compared to the start of the study, when looking at the end, sleep quality increased in the reading interventional group by 42%, as opposed to 28% in the control group. Not really sure why the control group technically increased in sleep quality. They shouldn't have changed, but regardless, there still was a significant difference between those two increases. When looking at sleep disturbance and daytime sleepiness, although there were small changes, there wasn't anything significantly different enough to show that reading caused the change. Now, the main limitations in these results is that everything was done completely online and done with online questionnaires. So there's no measures to make sure the participants were compliant with reading or to make sure even the online questionnaires were even answered accurately. Additionally, there could have been so many other factors that could have affected sleep besides reading, like being actively sick, temperature in the house or apartment, drug use, exercise during the day, or other underlying health conditions. Now, I like this study for a few key reasons. First, it shows pretty clear results. Reading before bed positively impacts subjective sleep quality. Boom, there you go, that's great. Second, the results are super applicable to everyone, and the paper and research is simple enough from someone from the population to open and read and understand these results. Third, and most importantly, in my opinion, the results of this research supports other research out there on the benefits of reading books. An observational clinical study from 2016 showed that book readers had a 20% reduction in all-cause death after 12 years of reading books, as opposed to people who didn't read or didn't consider themselves book readers. The benefits of reading books were significantly greater than reading newspapers or magazines as well. Now, cognitive score was a mediating variable, meaning those who read more books had higher scores of cognition, and those who had higher scores of cognition had less rates of death, creating this relationship between books and death. A study from 2018 showed that reading caused increased brain connectivity in kids, but actual screen time, like being on your phone, reduces that brain connectivity. I mean, the benefits of reading are obviously so clear here, right? A study from 2009 from the University of Sussex found that reading for 6 minutes corresponded to a 68% reduction in stress. And supposedly this reduction in stress is more than other stress-reducing activities like listening to music. Now, interestingly, I've probably found this study in over 50 different articles, random articles in different scientific papers online. They cite the study, they talk about it, and yet it has been impossible for me to find the actual original 2009 research article actually showing the research. So take that as you will. But realistically, this reason alone, this stress reduction, could be the reason why we saw improvements in sleep quality. Being more stressed could definitely cause you to have worse sleep and take you longer to fall asleep. Now, one thing I didn't like about today's study is that you can read books like in a physical copy, or you could have read it on your phone. In my opinion, that's a massive limitation. One of my past videos on blue light blocking glasses showed that blue light can have a severe negative impact on sleep. And so this is definitely a huge limitation. I think the most notable outcome, in my opinion, is that reading books before sleep helps sleep quality, but reading a physical copy as opposed to something digital is even more beneficial for your health. And honestly, that could be the one life hack you need to improve your sleep. For a nice little summary with some takeaways, today's trial found that reading immediately before sleep significantly increased overall sleep quality relative to control in a decently sized sample size. Today's study was designed as a pragmatic one, looking at real-life applications as opposed to a highly controlled lab setting. So, the results are more applicable to you in your home, and you could see these results too. Not guaranteed, but you could. There's an incredible amount of obvious research on the benefits of reading books in general, like increases in cognition and overall increases in life longevity and increases in brain connectivity. These are great benefits, but it's honestly interesting to see the short-term effects of book reading. This is also one of the first studies I'm aware of that actually looked at the acute short-term impacts of reading books and its effects on sleep. And this seems like a good, useful tool to implement in your life, especially if you have trouble with getting good sleep or if you're scrolling on your phone or trying to find something else to do right before you go to sleep. So maybe try this and see if this could work. Research suggests that it's helpful, but I'm not recommending this from a medical perspective, This is what the results saw, and if this is something you're interested in, you can talk about with your doctor, you can make your own decision. If you're also trying to learn more about clinical research or how to read scientific literature, this paper is a great place to start. You can check it out in the top of my description, and you can check out my description for all the other papers and sources that I cite as well. If you're curious, if you want to read more about the studies, go for it. That's why it's there. But regardless, that's all I had for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to support the channel. Don't forget to check out my past videos to see if there's other topics that you're interested in. Specifically, my blue light blocking glasses one really shows how blue light being on your phone really negatively affects your sleep quality. And so you can check that out too. But regardless, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys learned something. Have a good one.